so much for your attention.
Thank you, sir, for this insightful presentation. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Arun Kumar Singh. Sir is the chairman of ONGC and its group companies. With nearly 4 decades in the oil and gas industry, he is a mechanical engineer and NIT Patna doctor. Formerly CMD of BPCL, a Fortune Global 500 company, he also chaired IGN and served as president for Africa and Australia at BPR. We welcome you, sir, and request you to please address the gathering.
Honorable Minister of Justice, Yuvaji, Honorable Justice Hemant Gupta ji, Honorable Dr. Anju Rathi ji, Nana, Secretary, Department of Legal Affairs, Mr. K. Moses Chalai, Secretary DP, and Chairperson, India International Arbitration Centre once more for obvious reason. And distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. In fact, I will just not give you some practitioner's view of last 40 years of handling disputes. So, first and foremost, thank you, sir, for India International Arbitration Centre for inviting me and giving this opportunity to speak and share some of our views. And also, this is a real privilege to be with you, sir. Now public sector enterprises, I heard the word once in Supreme Court, which was he says, most of the time you all guys are frivolous litigants. And most of the litigation lands at the door of courts because of PSUs, and earlier even between PSUs. So now, of course, those litigations are gone, not between state government or other things. Sir, to be very frank with you, in my parlance, the dispute are on 3 accounts. The excessive conservatism of our executives is also the source of dispute. When we don't know how to handle the situation, because of the being government and so many agencies behind you, you tend to be extra conservative and you allow the things to pass so that somebody else has to decide, you don't have to save your own skin. Second, there is reason of our system that many times excessive optimism of the vendors also cause dispute. Many times you end up getting a job, sir, at L1 level, quoting abysmally low. And when you are not able to manage site and manage people, then you look for opportunity to create disputes. Often, you will find that it is bordering on insanity. Third reason is that, in our view, which is 30-40% of the disputes, in our case at least, is on account of not having adequate provision in the contract. If the contract is so rigid, that contract doesn't leave any room for any new, because situation is dynamic. You keep moving project from one stage to another, and many times it requires little flexibility. But our problem of the system is that if including all the legal fraternity of all the companies, they tend to rigidize the contract by giving a provision which makes it so rigid that if there is a flexibility required during the currency of the contract or execution of the contract, you don't know what to do. In fact, 1.5 years to 2 years in a project life of 4 to 5 years, rigid contract, if the contract is rigid, 2 to 3 years goes in resolving the dispute even for work to proceed. If midway work is stuck and you come across an item which is required, suppose structural steel or something which is a different type is required. Sometimes the contract is so rigid, it presupposes. Sometimes we senior people presuppose that we have all the answers for future. And we make a very rigid contract saying that everything is frozen in steel and cast, and therefore there is no room to negotiate. Invariably the word comes, there is no such provision in the contract to deal with this situation. But how do we deal with the situation? Particularly a private company gets over it because the owner has a right to, educate and say that fine, we'll pay you this much, move. In public sector system, it gets entangled. And we get hurt massively. Suppose a 40,000 crore, because we have projects which are 30, 40,000 crores. If it gets delayed by 1 year, you lose 3 to 4,000 crore on interest alone. So most of the time, 70-30 debt equity ratio is the normal balance for most of the time. So in any case, bankers will have to be paid. But here, for 30-40 crore decision, you will not take, because if you take, if the chairman is bold enough to take, then all the time somebody is running for him, that he took the decision. And however good you are in speaking order, like judiciary and politics and all that, but still there is a fear. So what I was trying to propose that mediation, ONGC experience I will share you, sir, which is different from after this mediation got passed by Parliament, we became more important. And because there is at least a judicial framework, at least a legislative framework, if not judicial framework, to give us some credence. And we appointed OEC, to the best of our knowledge, people of impeccable integrity. Those who society or system knows as one of the best. So once a mediation decides something, we get something as comfort that it is reasonable and somewhere we want. But if mediation also fails, but mediation fails in two conditions. If the vendor is, mediation is successful today, sir, our experience is 60% of our cases, if I remember correctly, we are succeeding now. Because of the fact that mediation, the chairman of mediation committee and all that are people of very high stature and all that. So generally both sides tend to agree. But if the model of dispute is to create additional revenue or a stream of revenue which somebody sees an opportunity to create because of the arbitration experience of the past, then there is no choice but to come to arbitration. We, sir, adopted institutional arbitration as a policy in our company that will not go for arbitration, and we were probably one of the first to sign up for institutional arbitration. But I like the word, somebody said, if I remember correctly, sir, it says global, efficient, and delivery. But sir, our experience of foreign arbitration, because we are involved in foreign oil and gas assets, they are very fast. They somehow, some cases will linger for long. But generally, small arbitration cases, international arbitration, is delivered very fast. I was wondering that how Singapore has ended up with handling our cases. Because Singapore also, our country is blessed with something called English came to us in English. And English is still the language of certain courts, particularly the arbitration courts, London and all. And our judiciary capability is also proven for impartiality. So my only submission, sir, for that, with all due respect for all those people sitting here, timelessness seems to be the essence of legal system. Arbitrators also are equally timeless people, particularly drags for years together, for 5 years, 6 years. Even ad hoc arbitration drags for 6 years. So the credibility of the whole system, last word is very credible. Whole system is not there, and sir, you will be aware that in Oilfield Regulation Act, which is the Parliament passed, because our context of nation is that we will find oil and gas now mostly in frontier areas. Frontier areas are basically deep water or deep water. Entire world is finding oil and gas in those areas. In fact, ONGC today 65% of oil and gas is produced from Bombay offshore. And now 98.2 we added 35,000 barrels plus in future. Sir, unless our comfort, and here we need foreign production. In fact, sir, we have already to BP for enhancing our production for Western Africa. Similarly, sir, if country has to grow, our trust of foreign partners in us and in them has to grow. Because we don't have skill technology to know how to handle ultra deep water they don't have great faith in our system, I'll be very frank. So institutional arbitration was a point where they were, our initial survey revealed that they were more comfortable because of the international experience, instead of individual ad hoc arbitration. But in this law we have provided in the right to go for any arbitration anywhere in the world because we needed them for growth of our country. So this institutional arbitration, sir, my invite and humble request to all of you who are sitting here, particularly in PSU, I can see many PSU faces here, that bring timeliness into the scheme of things instead of timelessness. Legal system has traveled to our corporates to make our system also timeless. In fact, somehow, we executives in corporate worlds, all the merits of the project or money we make because of timeliness. Time is the money. And if the timelessness trickles in, then we lose all the funds. So only submission to you is that institutional arbitration somehow 1 year is also, is long. Our mediation studies are getting over in 3 months? 6 months. 6 months. 6 months we are able to finish our mediation from beginning to close. If we can be, I was thinking of that those who are not interested in mediation, then possibly they can come to arbitration, institutional arbitration, is outside the court system. If we can figure out a way of handling small matters in 6 months, maybe 2 billion, 3 billion matters can go. So that is the only submission, and this is the only thing I wanted to share. Then institutional arbitration will apply. Because somehow the system has to be forward. I should not take this word. More of corporate and less of legal system. If it can come in IIAC, then we are there. The corporates are known for speed because otherwise they won't exist. They won't exist for long unless you are the monopoly. So time is also. Fortunately, our orders, legal orders, are very well written. In fact, we should be proud of the way we draft our orders and all that. It is much better than some of the Singapore awards that we had in previous countries. It is much better our system. But somehow, without meaning any offense to anybody, so timelessness has to become timeless. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insightful address. Now, I would like to invite Mr. K. Moses Salai, Secretary, Department of Public Enterprises, Ministry of Finance, to please address the gathering. Mr. Chalai is a seasoned administrator with over 3 decades of service. He has held key positions in Manipur and the Government of India. He served as Secretary, Northeastern Council and Interstate Council Secretariat, leading major infrastructure and policy initiatives. He holds deep expertise in governance, development, planning and intergovernmental coordination. We welcome you, sir, and request you to please address the gathering.
Thank you. Honorable Minister, Ministry of Law and Justice, Sri Arjun Ram Meghwal, Dr. Anju Rathi Rana, Secretary, Department of Legal Affairs, Honorable Justice Hemant Gupta, Chairperson, India International Arbitration Centre, Sri Arun Kumar Singh, Chairman, ONGC, and all the distinguished participants of this conference today. Sir, I would like to share that yes, it is indeed very, very important to have institutional arbitration mechanism and its robust function, which will instill efficiency, fairness, confidence, continuity, and ease of doing business for all the stakeholders. I would like to just give a very brief, picture or the snapshot of the CPSC world. It's a big world. Arun sir has he knows he has been in this game or in this life for much longer. But to give the holistic picture, sir, there are 448 CPSCs in the country. It's only increasing, I don't know more. But as of 2023-24, 24-25 figures will mature only around So in 2023-24, 272 of them were functioning, of which 212 make profits, 58 making loss, down comparatively not too big loss, and 2 without profit and loss. I don't know how this happens. Anyway, very interesting. Sir, the total gross turnover is very big. It is 36 lakh crores. That is something like $418 billion. All of them put together. And the net profit is 3.22 lakh crores. Everything is in lakh crores. If all put together. Sir, the overall and cumulative contribution to central exchequer in the financial year was 4.85 lakh crores. This is by way of excise, GST, corporate tax, dividends, and of course taxes of various nature. The CBSEs, all of them put together, have about their net worth is about 20 lakh crores, yeah, and employ about 38 lakh crore capital. And then they employ about 15.12 lakh people, employ, of which half are regular and half will be about contractual. And then the ancillary around them, of course, will be as big or will be huge. So surely our CPSEs are contributing in big and huge manner to the country and its overall economic journey. And they are present in various sectors, as we know, in energy, oil, energy, they can come oil, and power, steel, infra, road, coal, aviation, shipping, mines, defense, telecom, and so on. So, so their presence is very, very big all over the country. Even the capex is 3.28 lakh crores in 2024-25, capex contribution. And the market, about 66 of them are listed, and their market capitalization is about 44 lakh crores. This little dynamic, as we know. So, given all these figures, so as to appreciate that how significant are they in our country's life and economic life of ours. But having such a huge setup and huge presence, naturally there will be many, many cases. And I think this is one area that we really need to pay attention. As on that, there are about 211 cases, involving about 17,507 crores, and 51 cases, I'm told, have been rejected by the AFAs of the administrative ministries of 1,914, and 160 cases need to be considered, involving about 15,592 crores. 50 cases have been decided, but implementation again is difficult. They are at different levels of implementation, and 110 cases are still yet to be touched. For both CPSEs and stakeholders, fair and speedy resolution of disputes are key to good governance, trust building, and will help to move better and also have a headache-free progress and growth. Very, very important. The two speakers also have mentioned the importance of it, and my sense is that we need to pay much, much more attention to this. We from DEP will see how best we can contribute and work together with DLA and the ministries and CPSEs. And also I was just having a short conversation with Madam Secretary that if current mechanism needs certain amendments, certain support, certain involvement, let's really look to get into audit, and from DP side we give our assurance to that, so that we can have a much better way of resolution disputes, and our business and our work can go on progress on better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightened words. Moving on, now I invite Dr. Anjurati Rana, Secretary, Department of Legal Affairs, to address the gathering. Dr. Anjurati Rana, ILS, is the Law Secretary to the Government of India, heading the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice. With over 30 years of experience, she has served as Additional Public Prosecutor, Legal Advisor, and has held top advisory roles for key ministries. A gold medalist with an LLB, LLM, and PhD in law, Dr. Rana is India's first Law Secretary. Her leadership reflects a profound commitment to legal reform and institutional governance. We welcome you, ma'am, and request you to please address the gathering.
Hon'ble Minister of Law and Justice, Shri Hon'ble Mandapam, Shri K. Chairman, Secretary Department of Public Enterprises, Honorable Mr. Justice Gupta, Chairman IIAC, Shri Singh, Chairman ONGC. Good morning, distinguished dignitaries, officials from the ministries of Government of India, representatives of Central Public Sector Enterprises, legal professionals, and esteemed guests. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this National Conference on Institutional Arbitration, organized by the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice, in collaboration with ONGC and the India International Arbitration Centre, IIAC. Our gathering here today is not just to talk about arbitration, it is a step forward in India's journey of legal and economic freedom. We are here not merely to deliberate, but to plan. We are here to take forward a shared national objective to strengthen India's institutional arbitration framework, to establish IIAC as a world-class arbitral institution, and to place India firmly on the global map of credible dispute resolution hubs. In a country marching ahead with confidence and clarity, under the visionary leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, institutional arbitration is now a strategic imperative. As we mark 11 years of transformative governance under our Honorable Prime Minister, this moment offers a timely reflection. The 11 years of Seva, Sushasan, Garib Kalyan campaign is more than a retrospective. It is a testament to the consistency of delivery, to structural reforms rooted in this purpose. In these years, India has disbanded colonial-era legal relics, simplified procedural laws, and embraced technology to make the law more accessible, more responsive, and more attuned to the needs of a fast-growing economy. In the past decade, our government has also recognized the importance of arbitration in the country. In one of his addresses, our Prime Minister specifically highlighted the role and importance of arbitration, which I quote, "Businesses seek assurance of the prevalence of rule of law in the Indian market. They need to be assured that the rules of the game will not change overnight in an arbitrary fashion, and that commercial disputes will be resolved efficiently. A robust legal framework backed by a vibrant arbitration culture is essential." Unquote. This vision has guided the Ministry of Law and Justice, Department of India Affairs, as we have worked to modernize dispute resolution, reform arbitration law, and build accessible legal institutions. Over the past 11 years, the Ministry of Law and Justice has been at the forefront of legal transformation in India. Many obsolete laws have been repealed to declutter the statute books. Landmark reforms like the digitization of court records, expansion of virtual hearings, enactment of Commercial Courts Act 2015, and the recent Mediation Act 2023 have significantly improved access to justice. In alignment with the government's broader effort to reduce the burden of litigation and improve dispute resolution efficiency, the recent directives for efficient and effective litigation management by Government of India promotes institutional arbitration over ad hoc mechanisms for better reliability and predictability. The brief presentation made by my colleague on initiatives taken by the Department of Legal Affairs include amendments to the Arbitration and Conciliation Act in 2015, 2019 and 2021, what are landmark efforts to reduce judicial interference, fast-track proceedings and improve enforcement. In today's India, a nation determined to rise as a global economic power, our dispute resolution mechanism must reflect our aspirations and must match the pace and precision of our commercial ambition. But for arbitration to fulfill its full potential, it must be institutionalized. There is where the India International Arbitration Centre steps in. A defining moment came in 2019 with the enactment of the New Delhi India International Arbitration Centre Act, now renamed as the India International Arbitration Centre Act. With this legislation, IIAC was established as an autonomous institution of national importance, tasked with providing a credible, structured, and internationally benchmarked platform for arbitration. Under Section 4 of the IIAC Act, the IIAC has been declared an institution of national importance. This declaration reflects the Government of India's resolve to make India a serious player in the global arbitration landscape at par with major international arbitration institutions like SIAC, Singapore International Arbitration Centre, IIAC, that is International Chamber of Commerce, and LCIA, London Court of International Arbitration. So in furtherance of this mission, the IIAC Conduct of Arbitration Regulations 2023 and IIAC Criteria for Admissions to the Panel of Arbitrators, Regulation 2023, offer updated rules, a vetted panel of experienced arbitrators, and streamlined case management. At present, there are 188 arbitrators for domestic arbitration and 86 for international arbitration. These regulations set out a modern, efficient, and transparent framework for arbitral proceedings, tailored for the commercial realities of today and user-friendly mechanisms aimed at both domestic and international stakeholders. Recognizing the specific needs of MSMEs, the IIAC has also notified dedicated regulations in 2024. These include fast-track process, provision of legal aid, nominal fees, and simplified arbitration mechanisms for micro and small enterprises. That is a crucial move considering the financial vulnerability of these enterprises. But regulations alone cannot build an institution, and no institution can thrive on intent alone. Institutions are built by practice, by use, by trust, and on a track record of performance. While the legal architecture is in place, the active involvement of public sector undertakings is absolutely critical for realizing the full potential of IIAC. As entities that handle large-scale and high-stakes commercial contracts, PSUs are amongst the biggest stakeholders in India's dispute resolution ecosystem. We heard Chairman ONGC when he had pressed on to focus on time instead of timelessness in arbitration matters. It is imperative that their dispute resolution process in such contracts designate IIAC as the preferred institution for arbitration. We appeal for that for all the PSUs. Not because the law demands it, but because the future demands it. This isn't just about routine disputes differently, it is about building credibility and recognition through institutional practice. Fragmented arbitration cannot serve a global economy. Institutional coherence is the need of the hour. Accordingly, I, on behalf of Department of Legal Affairs, appeal to all the PSUs to consider incorporating or amending their arbitration clauses in ongoing and future contracts to refer disputes to IIAC as the designated arbitral institution for institutional arbitration. Additionally, in cases where the existing contracts refer disputes to the erstwhile International Centre for Alternative Dispute Resolution, we urge that those clauses be amended to refer disputes to IIAC as per the regulations framed by the Centre. This will harmonize the government's arbitration framework under a unified institutional umbrella. This is not just a procedural adjustment, it is a shift towards professionalism, consistency, and enhanced investor confidence. Therefore, by institutionalizing arbitration through IIAC, PSUs will benefit from structured case management, expert arbitrators, and a neutral institutional framework that upholds the integrity of the process. Let us not forget, more than 63 lakh cases are pending before the high courts in India, and many of them are commercial disputes. So when resolution is delayed, the cost is not only legal, it is economic, reputational, and systemic. Every prolonged dispute is a cost to a public trust, to governance, and to the taxpayer. India cannot afford judicial bottlenecks if we are to achieve our ambition of becoming a 5 trillion economy. A modern economy demands modern dispute resolution, so institutional arbitration anchored in the IIAC is the answer. India's aspiration to emerge as a global economic leader required dispute resolution mechanisms that are credible, swift, and transparent. IIAC is positioned to serve this function very well. Let me reiterate, the world's most respected arbitration institutions did not earn their reputations through legislation. They earned it through consistency, neutrality, and delivery. IIAC must do the same, and with your partnership, it will do it. Arbitration must not be an afterthought. It must be built into the way we contract, the way we plan, and the way we resolve. To move this vision forward, today's conference is envisioned as a platform to disseminate information, clarify procedures, and emphasize the advantages of institutional arbitration. We look forward to an interactive exchange of views, experiences, and challenges faced by PSUs in dispute resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, with your collective will and cooperation, the India International Arbitration Centre can truly evolve into a world-class arbitration institution. If India wants to stand shoulder to shoulder with the world's leading economies, we must also offer dispute resolution system that match the world's best. With favorable laws, a strong judiciary, and a dedicated arbitration institution, India is well positioned to make IIAC the next global seat of arbitration and position India in the global market. Let this be the turning point where we take institutional arbitration out of policy paper and into real world application. If we can align on this today, the long-term impact will be visible not just in better dispute resolution, but in smoother contracts, faster projects, and a stronger economy. Together, let us ensure that India not only keep pace with global standards, but sets them. Thank you for the patient hearing. Thank you all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, ma'am, for your encouraging words. And finally, I have the honor to invite Honorable Arjun Ram Meghwal, the Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Law and Justice. Sir is distinguished former IAS officer from Rajasthan. He has served as a member of Parliament representing the Bikaner constituency since 2009. Renowned for his integrity and simplicity, he is often seen cycling to Parliament, symbolizing his commitment to sustainable living and public accessibility. He has been conferred with the prestigious Sansad Ratna Award 3 times and the Sansad Maharatna for exemplary parliamentary performance. An author of 3 insightful books, he reflects on themes of the governance, Indian traditions and social values, contributing both as a policymaker and a thought leader. We are profoundly appreciative of your esteemed attendance, sir, and now we invite you to share a few words of wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming the Honorable Minister.
भाई आपने फ्यू वर्ड्स पे बोला है तो कितना बोलना है? फ्यू वर्ड्स में क्या 5 मिनट 10 मिनट कितना बोलना है? मैंने थोड़ा इसको लाइट मूड में इसलिए किया कि बहुत व्यू इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में जगह बहुत सुंदर है और मेरे ख्याल में चिंतन भी बहुत अच्छा होगा। सबसे पहले तो मैं जो 11 जून अहमदाबाद में जो प्लेन क्रैश में जो मारे गए हमारे सभी यात्री और पायलट और क्रू मेंबर्स और जो मेडिकल क्षेत्र में काम करने वाले पढ़ने वाले डॉक्टर्स और कुछ अन्य लोग जो अब हमारे बीच में नहीं है, उनको सबसे पहले श्रद्धांजलि देते हुए मैं मेरी बात को प्रारंभ करता हूँ। ये कॉन्फ्रेंस है जिसको आप नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस का नाम भी दे सकते हैं, और कॉन्फ्रेंस भी इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन एंड इफेक्टिव फ्रेमवर्क फॉर डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्यूशंस पर है। जो आपने बैग दिया वो बैग कितने लोगों ने पढ़ा ये तो पता नहीं है, लेकिन अरुण कुमार सिंह जी ने उसको अच्छी तरह से पढ़ा और उसमें लिखा हुआ क्या है उसको भी नोट किया। तो जो इस तरह से अगर आप हर चीज़ को ढंग से देखेंगे, परखेंगे और जीवन में उतारेंगे तो मुझे लगता है कि ये कॉन्फ्रेंस सफल होगी। मैं आपसे मैं कोई उद्घाटन के लिए या कोई बहुत गंभीर बात करने के लिए आपको नहीं आया। जो आपके पास चीजें हैं उनको ही आपको बताना है, इतना ही काम है मेरा। लेकिन मैं सोचता हूँ कि इस उद्घाटन सत्र से भी ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण ये जो 4 टेक्निकल सेशन है ये महत्वपूर्ण है। इसमें आप संवाद करना, ऐसे बैठे मत रहना। जैसे टेक्निकल सेशन 1 स्ट्रेंथनिंग डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्यूशन इन PSUs, द रोल ऑफ इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन, बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण सब्जेक्ट है, आप सबके लिए काम आता है। दूसरा टेक्निकल सेशन है इंडिया इंटरनेशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर, कंडक्ट ऑफ आर्बिट्रेशन रेगुलेशन 2023, ये भी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण सब्जेक्ट लिया है। फिर आपका तीसरा टेक्निकल सेशन है बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस ड्यूरिंग आर्बिट्रल प्रोसेस, ये डिस्कोर्स, ये भी अभी हम लंदन में थे तो ये इसी तरह का एक सब्जेक्ट था जिसमें हम बैठे थे। और टेक्निकल सेशन 4 जो है लर्निंग फ्रॉम इंटरनेशनल jurisdictions, वे आई फॉर द आर्बिट्रेशन इकोसिस्टम दे दिया। अब यहाँ एक शब्द आया इकोसिस्टम। ये चारों सेशन आपके बहुत अच्छे, इस पर अगर आप चिंतन मनन मंथन करोगे तो निश्चित रूप से कोई अमृत निकलेगा, और हम अमृत काल में भी बैठे हैं। इसी से ये इकोसिस्टम से ही एक बहुत अच्छा एक कोट है हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी का, जो आप लोगों ने सुना भी होगा और बहुत हमने कई जगह उसको बोला है। मैं इसको रिपीट करता हूँ, दोबारा रीइटरेट करता हूँ। ये 23 अक्टूबर 2016 को भारत में आर्बिट्रेशन को मजबूत करने की दिशा में एक राष्ट्रीय पहल हुई थी। उसके समापन भाषण में भारत के माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने कहा, अब मैं इसको कोट कर रहा हूँ, इसको मैंने मेरी भाषा में लिखा है। कोट, हमें अल्टरनेटिव डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्यूशन के लिए एक वाइब्रेंट इकोसिस्टम, यहाँ भी एक इकोसिस्टम की बात प्रधानमंत्री जी कर रहे हैं, आप भी एक टेक्निकल सेशन में इकोसिस्टम की बात कर रहे हैं, हेमंत गुप्ता जी अभी इकोसिस्टम की बात कर रहे थे, और इकोसिस्टम जो इनके यहाँ लिखा हुआ फोल्डर में इसकी बात अरुण जी कर रहे थे। तो इसका मतलब इकोसिस्टम कॉमन है सब में, और प्रधानमंत्री जी भी इकोसिस्टम की बात कर रहे हैं। मैं फिर कोट कर रहा हूँ, हमें अल्टरनेट डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्यूशन के लिए एक वाइब्रेंट इकोसिस्टम की सुविधा प्रदान करने की आवश्यकता है, जिसमें आर्बिट्रेशन, मीडिएशन एंड कंसिलिएशन शामिल है। इससे निवेशकों और व्यवसाय करने वालों को अतिरिक्त सुविधा मिलेगी। इससे भी महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि इससे भारतीय अदालतों पर केस का बोझ भी कम होगा। तो इसका मतलब केसेस बहुत है कोर्ट में, वो भी कम होने चाहिए, ये भी प्रधानमंत्री जी इसमें कह रहे हैं। अब आप देखिए, ये जो वनडे जो कॉन्फ्रेंस है, इसको मैंने जैसे आपको पहले कहा कि एक बार हम प्रधानमंत्री जी के पास बैठे थे, तो मुझे वैसे बैठे हुए देखते रहो, कई बार आप चलते हुए भी देखते हो ना, ये तो पक्का ही है ना, क्या इसमें भी कोई डाउट है? आप इसको तो मान लिया भाई, मान लिया ना। तो वो बोल रहे थे कि एक फाइल हमारे पास ऐसी आई जिसमें 2 पीएससी आपस में लड़ रहे थे। कोई अवार्ड था, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट था, पता नहीं क्या था। एक के लीगल ऑफिसर ने लिख दिया कि ये हमें मिलना चाहिए, दूसरे पीएससी के लीगल ऑफिसर, आप सब लीगल ऑफिसर क्यों, उसने लिख दिया कि हमें ये मिलना चाहिए, और दोनों भारत सरकार के, और दोनों हाई कोर्ट से लड़ते लड़ते सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक पहुंचे, और दोनों की अपील की परमिशन की फाइल एक साथ है साहब के पास। तो उन्होंने देखा दोनों क्यों लड़ रहे हैं। अब इसमें एक पीएससी समझ रहा होगा मुझे घाटा हो जाएगा, दूसरा पीएससी ये समझ रहा होगा मुझे घाटा हो जाएगा, लेकिन देश को घाटा हो रहा है ये कोई नहीं समझ रहा है। ये भी तो समझना पड़ेगा ना भाई कि देश का नुकसान कर रहे हो ना, और कितना पैसा हाईकोर्ट के वकील के फीस को, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के वकील के फीस को। तो इसका अल्टरनेट जो डिस्पोजल मैकेनिज्म है, इस पे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बहुत जोर दिया, आते ही जोर दिया। आपको जानकारी होगी कि आर्बिट्रेशन एंड कंसिलिएशन एक्ट 1996 का है। उसके बाद अगर चेंज किसी ने किया है, मुझे लगता है कि आपने उसमें बताया कि नहीं बताया, एक ऑर्डिनेंस आया था। प्रधानमंत्री जी 2014 में पीएम बने, 11 साल हो गए, और 11 साल का आर्बिट्रेशन का लेखा जोखा आपने इसमें पेश किया था। तो इसमें एक ऑर्डिनेंस भी आया था, 2014 में आ गया था, 15 में आया, 15 में आया। तो शुरू में इसका मतलब 14 में बनते समझ में आ गया कि हमें कुछ करना है, ऑर्डिनेंस आया फिर एक्ट आया। अब ये 96 से अगर किसी ने सोचा इसके बारे में कि भी हमें अमेंडमेंट करना चाहिए, ये टाइम बहुत लेते हैं, ये इतना समय नहीं लगना चाहिए, तो ये 2015 में अमेंडमेंट किया इसमें आर्बिट्रेशन एक्ट में, फिर 2019 में किया, फिर 2021 में किया, एक अभी अंडर कंसिडरेशन और है। तो आप अगर इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से चिंतन मनन मंथन करके कुछ सुझाव देंगे तो इस दिशा में हम काम करेंगे। भारत को आगे बढ़ाने का ही काम है हम सबका। मैं गवर्नमेंट में काम कर रहा हूँ, मैं किसी स्थान से मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट हूँ, मैं भारत सरकार में मंत्री हूँ, ये सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जज रहे हेमंत गुप्ता जी, अभी IIAC के चेयरपर्सन हैं, आप अरुण कुमार सिंह जी ONGC के चेयरपर्सन हैं, आप हमारे अंजू राठी राणा जो मैडम बैठी है लीगल अफेयर्स में सेक्रेटरी है, हमारे DP के सेक्रेटरी साहब बैठे हैं। इनका सबका क्या काम है? देश को आगे बढ़ाना ही है। आप भी उसमें सम्मिलित हो जाओ, यही कॉन्फ्रेंस है और कुछ नहीं। इसमें जो अरुण जी ने काम है उसी को आगे बढ़ाता हूँ कि टाइम इज मनी। क्या हम इसमें उसको भूल गए क्या? टाइम मनी नहीं है, या ध्यान नहीं है, या हमारे ध्यान में आ गया कि भाई L1 को ही मिलना चाहिए, गलत है तो भी इसी को दो। मैंने कईयों को पूछा भी आपने इसको ऐसा लिखते समय, क्योंकि मैंने भी हैवी इंडस्ट्री में काम किया, आपके मंत्रालय में काम किया, तो एक केस मेरे पास भी ऐसा आया मैंने कहा क्यों भाई आपने, जब L1 काम करने की क्षमता नहीं थी, ये पता था कि साहब L1 हम नहीं लिखते तो GFR आगे आ जाएगा। GFR को सीख ले क्या GFR अपॉर्चुनिटी है ना कोई, ये आगे आ जाता। तो मैंने कहा आप तरीके से लिखते, उसका भी कार्ड ढूंढनी चाहिए थी आपको। कहने साहब कोई RTA वाला देता, ऐसे डर के काम करोगे तो कैसे काम होगा? आप अपना अच्छा वो खुद जान रहे थे कि ये गलत है, लेकिन फिर भी वो डर रहे थे। तो ऐसे ये डर तो निकालना, हम देश हित में काम कर रहे हैं, ऐसा क्या हो जाएगा जी? अगर कोर्ट में भी जाएंगे तो हम हमारी बात कहेंगे कि मैंने तो मेरे इस ढंग से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का भला करने के लिए काम किया, लेकिन सही बात तो लिखनी पड़ेगी ना। हम सही बात नहीं लिख रखे, जो लकीर है खींची हुई उसी के साथ साथ चलता है, गलत आ रहा है, हमें पता है खड्डे में जाएंगे, लेकिन हम इसे निकलते नहीं। इसलिए अरुण जी ने ये अपनी जो जो दुख प्रकट किया वो इस कारण से किया, और ऐसे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को फिर नुकसान होता है, फिर कहते हैं ये घाटे में कैसे आ गए। ये जो टाइम इज मनी, ये तो हमें वैसे भी ध्यान रखना चाहिए कि हमें अगर समय पे काम पूरा नहीं हुआ, हमारे किसी नोट से नुकसान हुआ, बोले हम तो बच गए कोर्ट में जाओ सो, ये कोई तरीका नहीं है ना। इसीलिए ये मंथन करने के लिए मैंने सेक्रेटरी साहब को कहा, मैं क्या आप शुरू करो मंथन करना, जो होगा देखेंगे, एक बार चर्चा करेंगे, मंथन से कुछ अमृत निकलेगा तो निश्चित रूप से आगे बढ़ेंगे। अभी आप देखिए, आप मेरे ख्याल में अपना ब्यौरा दे रहे थे, हमारे के मोसेस चलाई से मेरे ख्याल में कितना आप कंट्रीब्यूशन बता रहे थे, बहुत ज्यादा। आप तो बता तो वर्किंग कितना बता रहे थे, 272 बता रहे थे वर्किंग, क्यों? लेकिन आप ब्यौरा तो बहुत अच्छा दे रहे थे कि जो नेशनल इकोनॉमी है हमारी, इसको आप आगे बढ़ाने में महत्वपूर्ण काम कर सकते हो। ये हम 11th पोजीशन से जंप करके 4th पोजीशन पे आगे इकोनॉमी में, 3rd में हमें पहुंचना है। तो इसमें हमारे पब्लिक सेक्टर अंडरटेकिंग और ये हमारे दूसरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, ये बहुत बड़ा रोल अदा कर सकते हैं। आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस का यही पर्पज मैं समझता हूँ। अभी अरुण सिंह ने कहा कि कभी कभी हम बहुत रिजिड हो जाते हैं, हमें फ्लेक्सिबल रहने की जरूरत है। कभी कभी हम बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल हो जाते हैं, तो हमें रिजिड रहने की जरूरत है। तो इसको हम संविधान से सीख सकते हैं कि हमारा सबसे बड़ा कानून क्या है? संविधान। तो संविधान कभी कभी फ्लेक्सिबल है और कभी कभी रिजिड है, दोनों हैं। तो हम ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में किसी में भी काम करें, हम देश काल परिस्थिति के अनुसार जब हमें लगता है कि हमें देश को आगे बढ़ाना है, देश की तरक्की के रास्ते पर हमें चलाना है देश को, तो कभी कभी हमें रिजिड होना पड़ेगा, तो रिजिड होंगे। कभी कभी हमें फ्लेक्सिबल होना होगा, तो हम होंगे। इंटेंशन उसमें महत्वपूर्ण है। अगर किसी के कारण वो गलत इंटेंशन से फ्लेक्सिबल और रिजिड होता है तो गड़बड़ है। वो इंटेंशन कैसे कौन जज करे? वो आप जैसे आदमी जज करेंगे ना, इस आदमी का इंटेंशन ये था लिखते समय। अगर आपने इंटेंशन को ढंग से, आपका सबका इंटेंशन ठीक रहा और कुछ गलत में लिख दिया तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है। मैं तो आपकी जैसे सर्विसेज करके ही आया हूं यहाँ, मेरे खिलाफ भी बहुत सी चीजें आई होगी, लेकिन यहाँ बैठ गया ना यहाँ करके, इसलिए आप भी अच्छा करोगे तो निश्चित रूप से अच्छी चीजें आगे बढ़ेगी। अब आर्बिट्रेशन के बारे में जब बात करते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि हम क्या बात कर रहे हैं। आर्बिट्रेशन तो हमारे सिस्टम का पार्ट है। हमारे प्रेमचंद जी एक प्रसिद्ध कहानी लिखते हैं, उसका नाम पता है किसी को? क्या है? पंच परमेश्वर। आपको बता दो, देखिए इनको पता, आपको भी पर पंच परमेश्वर। अब उनकी वो बाकी कहानियां भी फेमस हुई होगी, लेकिन पंच परमेश्वर बहुत फेमस हुई कि पंचों ने जो निर्णय किया वो परमेश्वर के अनुसार हुआ, इसलिए हम उसको माने। लेकिन यहाँ पता नहीं, कोई आर्बिट्रेशन का, कोई कह रहा है कि आर्बिट्रेशन का ये टाइम बहुत ले लिया, समय बहुत ले लिया, निर्णय ठीक नहीं, ऐसा आता रहता है। लेकिन हमारे यहाँ आर्बिट्रेशन या जो ये मध्यस्थता, ये हमारी प्राचीन संस्कृति का हिस्सा है। कहीं बीच में हम डिस्टर्ब हो गए होंगे, लेकिन हम अब तो आगे बढ़ना पड़ेगा। अभी हम लंदन में थे, अभी थोड़ी बात बताऊंगा, अंजू जी भी हमारे साथ ही थे, और फिर कौरव और पांडवों का झगड़ा हुआ, तो हमारे मीडिएटर कौन बने? भगवान लॉर्ड कृष्ण बने मीडिएटर। वो ही वाज द फर्स्ट मीडिएटर। तो मध्यस्थता करने गए थे, माने नहीं वो अलग बात है। तो अगर कोई मध्यस्थता ढंग से कर रही है, कोई मान नहीं रहा है, उसका काम भी हमारा, क्यों नहीं मान रहे हो आपको मानना चाहिए। और उसके बाद हमारे इस सिस्टम में जो हमारे पूर्व न्यायाधीश थे, न्यायमूर्ति BN कृष्णा, उनकी अध्यक्षता में कमेटी बनी। उन्होंने जो सुझाव दिए उसके अनुसार हमने आगे काम किया। उसमें न्यायमूर्ति RV रविंद्रन भी थे, अटॉर्नी जनरल के वेणुगोपाल भी थे, वरिष्ठ अधिवक्ता इंदु मल्होत्रा भी थे। ये सब लोगों ने सुझाव दिया। उसके बाद ही हम अमेंडमेंट लेके आए। तो अगर आप कुछ आज इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से सुझाव देंगे तो निश्चित रूप से हम इसमें आगे काम करेंगे। मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ, देखिए एक बार थोड़ा मैं डिफरेंट ले जा रहा हूँ। आर्बिट्रेशन हमारे सिस्टम का ही पार्ट है। आप भी जानते हो आर्बिट्रेशन अच्छी चीज है, इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन भी अच्छी चीज है, ये भी जानते हो। अब ये हमारे हेमंत गुप्ता जी, न्यायमूर्ति हेमंत गुप्ता जी काफी समय से संघर्ष कर रहे हैं। आज कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाद शायद मुझे लगता है कि आपके इनमें भी कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा, आपके में भी कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा कि इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन ठीक है। लेकिन ये इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन की हमारे अंदर एक भावना है, लेकिन ये जागती नहीं है। तो एक बार कबीरदास जी ने अपने शिष्यों को पूछा कि भगवान नाम की चीज है क्या? पूछने वाला आदमी बैड इंटेंशन से पूछ रहा था, क्योंकि कबीरदास जी पाखंड विरोध की बात करते थे। लेकिन यहां कबीरदास जी एकदम जो मनुष्य के अंदर क्या है वो कर रहे हैं। ऐसी आर्बिट्रेशन आपके अंदर है, लेकिन आपको दिखता नहीं। तो कबीरदास जी कई बार तो बोला नहीं, 2-3 दिन ऐसे निकल गए। रोज वो सत्संग करते थे, फिर आए, बोला साहब वो आपने बताया नहीं, भगवान नाम की कोई चीज है क्या और कैसे पता चलेगा? तो कबीरदास जी कोई भी चीज कहते थे, जवाब देते थे, या दोनों से कहते थे या अपने भजन से कहते थे। और उन्होंने लिखा, लोगों ने है, उन्होंने कुछ नहीं लिखा। तो उन्होंने कहा, सुनो भाई, क्या कि जो तिल माही तेल, तिल के अंदर तेल होता है, दिखता है? बोला दिखता नहीं, पर अंदर होता है। कि ज्यों तिल माही तेल, ज्यों चकमक में आग। चकमक होती पत्थर होता है, उसमें ऐसे भिड़ाओ तो आग निकलती, दिखता है? बोला नहीं दिखता। ज्यों तिल माही तेल है, ज्यों चकमक में आग, तेरा शाही तुझ में बसे। दुनिया देख तो बस। अरे भाई, हम लंदन में जाकर के आर्बिट्रेशन देख रहे हैं, हम सिंगापुर में जाकर के आर्बिट्रेशन देख रहे हैं, हम हांगकांग में जाकर के आर्बिट्रेशन देख रहे हैं, हम दुबई में जाकर के आर्बिट्रेशन देख रहे हैं। भारत में क्यों नहीं देख रहे भाई? क्यों नहीं देख रहे? ये कॉन्फ्रेंस का यही पर्पज है कि हम आर्बिट्रेशन का हब क्यों नहीं बन सकते? हमारे अंदर ही है, हमारे सिस्टम के अंदर है, भारतीय कल्चर के अंदर आर्बिट्रेशन है। जितने हमारे संस्कार होते हैं उनके अंदर आर्बिट्रेशन है। कोई हमारा मध्यस्थता करने वाला, आर्बिट्रेशन करने वाला आदमी रहता है। कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में भी सिस्टम में डाला हुआ है, लेकिन फिर भी हम पीछे हैं, वो आगे हो गए। जिनके सिस्टम में आर्बिट्रेशन नहीं था वो आगे हो गए। इसलिए हमें आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस के माध्यम से, मैं लंबी बात नहीं कहूंगा, मैं फिर कहूंगा कि टेक्निकल सेशन बहुत महत्वपूर्ण है। फिर मुझे एक दुष्यंत कुमार की 4 लाइनें याद आ गई है। आपका इच्छा हो तो मैं कह दूं क्या? दुष्यंत कुमार को सुना है किसी ने? सुना तो है ना? क्या नहीं सुना? अरुण जी ने सुना? मुझे लगता है ये कह रहा है, सुना तो थोड़ा। दुष्यंत कुमार एक बार अपने गांव की एक नदी के पास बैठे थे, जिसमें पानी कम था, लेकिन हवा बहुत अच्छी आ रही थी। तो एक आदमी गया कि दुष्यंत कुमार जी आप कहां बैठ गए, इसमें तो पानी कम है। तो उन्होंने कहा मेरी गांव की है, इसलिए मुझे अच्छा लगता है, मैं यहीं बैठूंगा। फिर भी वो आदमी माना नहीं, फिर उसने जिद की कि नहीं, ये पास में एक नदी है जिसमें अच्छा पानी आया हुआ है, वहां बैठेंगे तो आपको अच्छा लगेगा। उन्होंने कहा नहीं, मेरे ये गांव की है नदी, मेरे को लगाव है, इसलिए मैं यहीं बैठूंगा। फिर भी नहीं माना, तो दुष्यंत कुमार जी ने 4 लाइनों से उसको जवाब दिया। इस नदी की धार में ठंडी हवा आती तो है, नाव जर्जरी से लहरों से टकराती तो है। ठीक है, मेरे नदी है, इसमें पानी कम है, मेरी नाव भी जर्जर है, लेकिन लहरों से तो टकरा रही है, मुझे अच्छा लग रहा है मेरा गांव। इस नदी की धार से ठंडी हवा आती तो है, नाव जर्जरी से लहरों से टकराती तो है। एक चिंगारी कहीं से ढूंढ लाओ दोस्तों, इस दिए में तेल से भीगी हुई बाती तो है। अगर आर्बिट्रेशन की ये बाती जो जगा रहे हैं हेमंत गुप्ता जी, आपको लगता है कि दिए में तेल में बाती तो है, तेल कम है तो तेल आपको डालना है, तेल आपको डालना, बाती जगेगी, प्रकाश होगा, भारत आर्बिट्रेशन का हब बनेगा। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and gracing us with your august presence. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a short tea break. Tea is being served at level 1, that is 1 floor below. We'll reconvene here at 12 sharp for the first technical session. And we humbly request everyone to please adhere to the time schedule. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again.
डाउन लेवल पे आएंगे मैं बोलूँ
माननीय जी Oh, okay.
पैकिंग हो गया? बताओ।
माइक को पैक करूं? हाँ। चलोगे ना नीचे? चल।
वो तो चले गए यार, बाइक नहीं दिए, तो चले गए बाइक नहीं दिए। हाँ, तो चलो देखो। कौन कौन है? ठीक है, चले तो आज एकदम रेट कर दो। अरे नीरज, क्या नाम है? कैमरा ले जाना नीचे। अच्छा भैया इसे तो ना पता चले तो बताऊँ कि घर अगर कौन सा बात वगैरह है तो मुझे दे देंगे। अरे चिप्स के अंदर पैसा रहता का नकली नोट के लिए ऐसा रहता है क्या?
दूसरी फाड़ फाड़ के चेक करो। अरे दूसरे में एडमिशन लेने के लिए
जब सब चलेंगे तो चलेंगे। आ रहे हो लोग, आ रहे हो ऊपर।
हाँ धीरे धीरे
Hello. Request you all to be seated and get ready for the technical session 1. Kind attention, please. I request everyone to be seated and get ready for the technical session 1, please. Please requested to take your seats.
मैंने बहुत पिया होगा जॉब पे दाड़ा तुम्हारा फोन फोन
Good morning, everyone. I'm taking the liberty of calling the House to order so that we can get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a Council Department Counsel in the International Arbitration Centre, welcoming you on behalf of the Department of Legal Affairs, Ministry of Law and Justice, ONGC and IIAC. As we progress, let us commence our first session of the conference, which focuses on strengthening dispute resolution in PSUs, the role of institutional arbitration. I am delighted to welcome the moderator for the session, Ms. Malini Brar, who is an advocate and solicitor at England and Wales. We are also honored to have a distinguished panel with us today for the technical session. One, Mr. Ajay Kumar Arora, Joint Secretary, Arbitration, Department of Legal Affairs. Mr. Ajit Kumar Mishra, Director, Ilcon International Limited. Mr. Sanjeev K. Mawat, Managing Director and Group Counsel, SR Group. Mr. Naveen Kumar Singh, Chief Executive Officer, IIAC. Ms. Kadambari Singh, Senior Advocate and Independent Arbitrator. With that, I now invite Ms. Brar to kindly take over and lead us into the panel discussion. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that introduction, and good morning to everybody, all the officers and representatives of various public sector undertakings, leading practitioners in the field of dispute resolution, and the organizers, with a special hat tip to the young force that has been running around on a Saturday morning trying to get the best organization underway for this conference. Welcome to the first technical session of the day on the topic strengthening dispute resolution in PSUs, the role of institutional arbitration. It is a wide-ranging topic with many interesting sub-issues, and we have the benefit of a wide-ranging wealth of experience on the dais to discuss it. From the government, we have Ajay sir. From the courts, we have Kadambari ma'am. On the corporate side, we have Sanjeev sir and Ajit sir, and of course the remarkable institution that has brought us all here together, Naveen sir. One must commend the excellent organizing that has put in place this panel on behalf of ONGC and IIAC and the Ministry of Law. Because if you were to think of this topic and think of the right people to answer questions around it, you would probably think of the very people on this panel. So, you are all familiar, I'm sure, that there have been questions around the benefits of arbitration, especially when government entities are involved. But one thing that is clear and has been clear from the beginning is that institutional arbitration is an exception to that questioning and uncertainty. And the reason for that is that with the proper institutional intervention in the administration of a dispute, you can have a well-conducted arbitration, which is timely, which is cost-effective, And at the end of the day, you can have an award which is enforceable in any court. So that is perhaps a very good starting point for this discussion, which is to get the views of this panel on how you think institutional arbitration will help in strengthening dispute resolution in PSUs. I'd like to give the floor to you and invite you to say a few words.
Thank you, Nandini. First of all, very good afternoon. Right now, Nandini said the representative of the government. I would like to share that I have been, throughout my service career, I have been part of the CPSUs as you are, I am one of you only. And I'm thankful to the government that the government has, made me joint secretary arbitration first ever appointment as a representative of the CPSU as well as the nominee of the government. So I am representing both right now. So far the arbitration is concerned are ad hoc and institutional. I have been in PSUs for the past 24 years into litigation, typical litigation part. So the CPSU representative, I can very well understand their point of view, their pain, their problem, their issues. So for me, ad hoc arbitration, of course, have been a very, failure, you can say. No, I won't say exactly failure, but of course, it burdened a loss to the public sector, particularly the CPSUs and the government as a whole. Therefore, this idea of institutional arbitration has come up. So during my period, most of the cases I have dealt on ad hoc arbitration basis. So my experience is, during all this period, I think there are few cases I still remember, which took approximately 20 years to just take its feet. Just imagine, 20 years. Even after coming into enforcement of the amendments, because the contractors declined to opt for the new environment, new enactment, new provisions, they better suited them. I won't say that I'm not against the arbitrators, but as a stakeholders, we have to strike balance between all. So just imagine, once you go for institutional arbitration, at least you have in advance knowledge of the fee structure of the institution, the working atmosphere, working environment, structure of the institution, and how they will dispose the matters and in what manner. And you know very well the team of the institution that usually remains available on the website itself, that who are the enrolled arbitrators and panel arbitrators, they may apply. Another thing which I have seen, that once the CPSU opts for the ad hoc arbitration, again, the judicial people, the people from the legal background, they take front seats during the arbitral tribunals. That is another problem. CPSUs can better judge that their contracts needs, they have some expertise, they need the people from the expert side, from the technical side, but unfortunately, most of their arbitrations, although in certain cases they are appointed as arbitrator among us the three, but of course they hardly, not able to speak much, not able to deliver much in front of the high stature judicial people. So institutional arbitration is another way where we can at least make arrangement in such a manner that it strikes a balance we maintain among these, where we can opt for the experts, the technical experts, because the infrastructure like civil industry to which I belong, I have been there in NHPC for more than 24 years. So particularly encountering the geographical site conditions. So what happens? You don't know what will happen. Initially the DPR is conducted, but the DPR, again, it's a nature. You don't know what would happen in the future. We have a classification of rocks class A by A, B, C, D. We don't know. Ultimately, when the excavation work will be done, again the delay is there. No, basically, there are two things. Although I know that I am here to speak on the institutional arbitration, but I would certainly suggest you people that first of all, we must avoid disputes. Why disputes? Public sector. But in case we have no option but to resort for the disputes, then of course institutional arbitration is the only option. My 24 experience in ad hoc arbitration is very, very, very painful. I know how the awards are made in the arbitral tribunals. I know how the things are pleaded before the arbitration, because I was also one of the stakeholders like you. As a law officer, there are a lot of law officers representing CPSUs are here. Lot of directors and other managing directors of the CPSUs are here. So my request to you will be, of course, now whenever you talk about CPSU, say arbitration क्या करना है, लेकिन मेरी आप सबसे प्रार्थना है कि अगर arbitration के अलावा कोई रास्ता नहीं है, तो हमें एक चीज अपने मन में रखनी पड़ेगी, अपने दिमाग में रखनी पड़ेगी कि तब हमें इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन का कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है। सीपीएसयू के लिए सेफ भी है। दूसरा, आईआईसी एक स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी है, आईआईसी एक एक्ट से एस्टेब्लिश की गई बॉडी है। तो एज ए सीपीएसयू रिप्रेजेंटेटिव अगर आप आईआईसी को ऑप्ट करते हैं तो यू आर सेफ, आपके पास आईआईसी की अकाउंटेबिलिटी भी है। आईआईसी क्योंकि स्टैट्यूटरी बॉडी है, तो ऑफ कोर्स इज ए गवर्नमेंट बॉडी, तो आपकी उसकी अकाउंटेबिलिटी भी है। इसके जो आर्बिट्रेटर्स होंगे, अगर वो आपको लगता है कि कोई आर्बिट्रेटर ठीक से काम नहीं कर रहा या फेवर कर रहा है या इम्पार्शियल नहीं है, ठीक है, तो ट्रिब्यूनल जब तक है इट्स ऑल है, बट वंस द ट्रिब्यूनल मैंडेट इज ओवर, ऑलवेज इन फ्यूचर केसेस, इन फ्यूचर रेफरेंसेस आप इस इशू को टेकअप कर सकते हैं और अकाउंटेबिलिटी हमेशा आर्बिट्रेटर रहेगी इंस्टीट्यूशन। तो आज मैं 24 साल के अनुभव से आपको ये जरूर बता सकता हूँ कि मेरे आपको एडवाइस है कि इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सर्वोपरि है। आपके एड हॉक आर्बिट्रेशन में आपको मालूम नहीं है, आप अपना आर्बिट्रेटर कैसे अपॉइंट करते हैं आप सबको मालूम है, मुझे बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। कॉन्ट्रैक्टर कैसे करता है ये भी आपको मालूम है, और प्रिजाइडिंग कैसे होता है मैं बोलना नहीं। तो इसलिए पर्टिकुलरली इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन एक रास्ता है जो हम सबको इन सब प्रॉब्लम से निजात दिला सकता है। तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि एड हॉक आर्बिट्रेशन के ऊपर हमेशा हमेशा आज की डेट में मेरे 24 साल का अनुभव यही बताता है कि इंस्टीट्यूशनल आर्बिट्रेशन बहुत 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 बेहतर है। टाइम फ्रेम आपको देती है, एक्सपेडिशियस डिस्पोजल आपको देती है, फीस की जो प्रॉब्लम यूजुअली सीपीएसयू फेस करती है, उस फीस की पहले दिन से हमें मालूम है कि इनकी फीस कितनी होगी। तो इसके साथ ही थैंक यू मैम, और मुझे कुछ नहीं कहना।
Thank you, sir, and thank you for giving us a broad overview and really touching on the key points, which is expertise, timeliness, and something that is unique to the IIAC because it is a body that has been initiated by the government, accountability. I'd like to invite Ajit sir now to add to this discussion.
Very good afternoon. Obviously, the topic is very sensitive and lot has been said by Hon'ble Minister and also Chairman of one of the leading public sector, ONGC. I have had the experience of working with government, that is Ministry of Railways, which is dealing with large number of cases, and also had the opportunity to work with 2 Schedule A CPSEs. And based on my experience working with these 3 distinct organizations, the question I pose to myself when I have to decide on the this issue is, do I have a choice of going for ad hoc arbitration or institutional arbitration? And my fellow panelists will further elaborate on this, but I'll first answer the question and then I'll try to little bit deliberate on this. My simple answer is, one must avoid ad hoc arbitration in all perspectives. And why institutional arbitration is better, this is the moot point. Again, it will be discussed by other panelists, but I'll give you few examples how ad hoc arbitration can give you troubles. In CPSEs, particularly in the public sector or even in the government cases, the arbitration or disputes are the one thing which is very sidelined. There are project officers who deals with the project, and then they also have the responsibility to deal with the disputes also. And obviously the project delivery is their first responsibility, their entire focus is on that. And somehow the officers have in their mind is that if they insist or if they deliberate too much on the dispute, probably the other party will get annoyed, they will stop working, and it will affect their project delivery. So they try to push it aside. Another thing is that it requires decision making. If there is a dispute, you as a project coordinator or officer, you have to take a decision. And if you are taking a decision, probably you have to own the responsibility also. And again, in bureaucratic setup, probably it is more onerous on one to take the decision and less if you are not taking decision. I don't think any CBC or any this 3Cs cases on officers who are not taking decision. All cases are on the when an officer has taken a decision. So this is very deeply rooted in our mind that if you defer the decision of dispute resolution, particularly in this context, probably we will be safe. And unfortunately, that officer may be safe, but that is very detrimental to the organization's project delivery and financial interest. Because dispute delayed is, that means not only the amount of dispute is enlarged, rather the interest component and all other things will also be piled up. When this different institutions are pitching for adopting institutional arbitration in the contracts, it has to be started right from at the drafting stage. And I had my personal experience that whenever you are approaching to the management or the one who is approving the contract documents that let's adopt the institutional arbitration rather than going for the ad hoc arbitration, one of the apprehensions, and it is not only particular to my organization where I have been working, it is across the other PSU, that the management thinks that as if their power to pick and choose the decisions of selecting arbitrators and other processes of arbitrations are being taken over by the arbitral institutions. And believe me, no management would like to surrender his power. But it is the responsibility of the law officers to explain their management is that look, even if there is institutional arbitration, your liberty to take decisions are no way compromised. If your management thinks that he has the power to choose an arbitrator, that is available even with an institutional arbitration. So you have to convince your management. And if you are having an institutional arbitration, it is like something like you are having a monitor who is guiding your entire dispute resolution process, especially through especially that arbitration, where at every stage someone from institution will prompt you what is your next stage, what you have to do and what you have not to do. In ad hoc arbitration, why section 11 are so prevalent is because there is no one who is taking care of arbitral appointment process. If contractor or one party has given the request for arbitration, the department is completely unaware that